Welcome to Forever Remembered. I'm Elizabeth. Today we take time to honour the lives of incredible individuals whose impact continues to echo across generations. Through their work, passion and dedication, they touched countless hearts. Join us as we celebrate their stories from film, music and culture, preserving memories that will never fade and always inspire. Brigid Beerine was a trailblazing figure in Austrian public life, known for her calm authority and deep commitment to the rule of law. Born on June 25, 1949, she built a distinguished career as a prosecutor, eventually serving as Austria's chief public prosecutor from 1990 to 2002. Her expertise earned her international recognition, including a role on the executive board of the International Association of Prosecutors. In 2003, she joined Austria's highest court, the Constitutional Court of Austria, later becoming its president in 2018. But her most historic moment came during the political crisis triggered by the Ibiza affair. After the collapse of Sebastian Kurz's government, President Alexander Van der Bellen appointed Beerine as Austria's first female chancellor in 2019. She led a non-partisan caretaker government until early 2020, guiding the country with stability through a turbulent period. Beerine passed away at the age of 74. While official details about her cause of death were not widely disclosed, her passing was met with deep respect across Austria. Her legacy remains one of integrity, quiet strength, and historic firsts. Katherine Ribero, 22nd September 1941, was a singular voice in French music, known for pushing boundaries rather than following them. Born in France, she emerged in the late 1960s as a powerful and unconventional performer, blending experimental folk with avant-garde influences. Her work stood apart, intense, poetic, and often politically charged, earning her a loyal, if niche, audience over time. Ribero first gained attention with her band Katherine Ribero plus Alpes, releasing a series of bold and innovative albums such as Katherine Ribero and 2 Biz, 1969, Number 2, 1970, and Paix, 1972. These records captured a raw, almost hypnotic energy that resonated deeply with listeners seeking something outside mainstream music. In later years, she continued her artistic journey as a solo performer, maintaining her distinctive voice and uncompromising style. Though never a commercial pop figure, Ribero's influence reached far beyond her immediate circle. Artists like Kim Gordon and Julian Cope openly admired her work, and even intellectual figures such as mathematician Cedric Villani praised her originality. Katherine Ribero passed away at the age of 82. The cause of her death was not publicly disclosed. She leaves behind a legacy defined by artistic courage and emotional intensity. Cindy Elizabeth Hernandez Perez, widely recognized online as La Barbie Regia, and Ana Fabiola MT, built a strong digital presence through her work as a model, influencer, and adult content creator. At 36, she had carved out a space where confidence, style, and personal expression drew thousands of followers who admired her bold personality and openness. Her life was cut short in a shocking act of violence that left her community shaken. Reports indicate that she was murdered, with the cause of death linked to a violent attack, though investigations sought to clarify the full circumstances and those responsible. The news spread quickly across social media, where fans and fellow creators expressed grief, disbelief, and anger. Beyond the headlines, Cindy was more than her online persona. Friends and followers remembered her as someone who embraced life unapologetically, sharing both glamorous moments and real-life struggles. Her sudden death not only highlighted the dangers that public figures, especially women, can face, but also sparked conversations about safety and justice. Her story remains a painful reminder of a life full of energy and ambition, taken far too soon. 15 years ago this week, country music said farewell to Ferlin Husky, who passed away at the age of 85. His passing marked the end of a long and meaningful chapter in American music, though his voice continues to feel very present for those who grew up with his songs. Husky wasn't just a performer of his time. He was someone whose singing carried emotion in a direct, unguarded way. There was a gentleness in the way he delivered a lyric, as if every line had lived experience behind it. That honesty made his music feel close, even personal, to listeners across generations. Music that connected people. During the 1950s and 1960s, Husky's songs became steady companions for many fans. Tracks like Gone and Wings of a Dove weren't just popular recordings. They felt like stories set to music, shaped by longing, hope, and reflection. His voice had a smoothness that allowed emotion to come through without being forced, which helped his work stand apart in a rapidly evolving country music scene. As the genre began blending traditional sounds with newer styles, Husky's approach helped bridge that shift in a natural and lasting way. His influence was recognized through his induction into the Country Music Hall of Fame, a reflection of how deeply his work had resonated. A legacy that still feels present. Even years after his passing, Ferlin Husky's music continues to find its way to new listeners. There is a timeless quality in his recordings that keeps them from feeling locked in the past. Instead, they feel like snapshots of human emotion that remain relevant. Songs about love, loss, and faith that still land with quiet strength. His legacy is not only in awards or recognition, but in the steady emotional connection his music continues to create. Ferlin Husky didn't just contribute to country music history. He left behind a sound that still feels warm, familiar, and alive when it plays today. This week marks 110 years since the birth of Gregory Peek, a reminder of a career that quietly shaped the language of classic cinema. His work is often revisited, not because it feels distant, but because it still carries emotional clarity and purpose. Peek had a way of making restraint feel powerful, turning calm presence into something deeply memorable on screen. A defining role, one of his most celebrated performances came in To Kill a Mockingbird, where he portrayed Atticus Finch. As a principled attorney, standing firm in a divided society, Peek delivered a performance built on quiet conviction rather than intensity. That balance helped turn the character into a lasting symbol of integrity in cinema, remembered as much for what he withheld as what he expressed. Lasting influence. Even decades after his passing at 87, Peek's presence continues to resonate. His performances have not faded into nostalgia. Instead, they still feel relevant in conversations about fairness, empathy, and responsibility. In a film landscape often driven by volume and spectacle, his work remains a reminder that strength on screen can come from calm certainty and human honesty. Leonardo DiCaprio grew up in East Hollywood during a time when the neighborhood was far from the glamorous image often associated with Los Angeles. It was a place shaped by contrast, creative energy mixed with poverty, instability, and constant struggle. Raised primarily by his mother, Emmeline, he experienced early on how difficult it was to maintain stability while chasing opportunity. She worked multiple jobs and often took him across the city to auditions using long bus routes just to give him a chance in the entertainment world. His father, though present in his life, lived separately and supported artistic thinking but not financial security. From a young age, Leonardo saw both resilience and sacrifice at home, learning that survival required persistence. These early surroundings shaped his worldview deeply, instilling both ambition and awareness of how fragile success can be when built from uncertainty and limited resources. First steps into acting and constant rejection. Leonardo's entry into acting was far from smooth or glamorous. As a child, he auditioned repeatedly for commercials, small TV roles, and minor appearances, often waiting hours only to be dismissed within minutes. Casting rooms were filled with other hopeful children, all competing for limited opportunities, and most left disappointed. He faced rejection so frequently that it became part of his routine rather than an exception. Despite this, his mother continued encouraging him, treating every rejection as temporary rather than final. This mindset helped him develop resilience early on. Instead of being discouraged, he began to see rejection as part of the process, rather than a reflection of his talent. Over time, this experience shaped his discipline and determination. While many children would have given up, he continued auditioning, gradually building experience and learning how competitive the entertainment industry truly was, even at its lowest entry levels. Breakthrough roles and early recognition. Leonardo's persistence eventually led to small but meaningful roles in television, including appearances that helped him gain visibility. His performance in This Boy's Life marked a turning point, where he acted alongside established talent and demonstrated emotional depth far beyond his age. However, it was What's Eating Gilbert Grape that truly changed his career trajectory. Playing a young man with developmental challenges, he delivered a performance that surprised critics and audiences alike. It earned him his first Academy Award nomination, making him one of the youngest nominees in history at that time. Although he did not win, the recognition established him as a serious actor rather than a child performer. This phase of his career marked a shift from struggling auditioning actor to rising talent, opening doors to more complex roles and signalling the beginning of his transformation into a major figure in Hollywood. Titanic and overnight global fame. The release of Titanic transformed Leonardo DiCaprio's life instantly and permanently. What began as a major film project quickly turned into a global cultural phenomenon, breaking box office records and reaching audiences across the world. His role as Jack Dawson made him one of the most recognizable faces on the planet almost overnight. Fans followed him everywhere, media attention intensified, and his privacy significantly decreased. While the success brought fame, it also created pressure and typecasting concerns. He became associated with a single image, the romantic lead, which made it difficult for casting directors to see him in more serious or unconventional roles. Despite the overwhelming success, Leonardo began to feel confined by the expectations attached to his popularity. The film brought him unprecedented recognition, but also introduced a long-term challenge, escaping the identity created by one of the biggest films in cinematic history. Transition to serious acting and collaboration with Scorsese. After Titanic, Leonardo DiCaprio faced the challenge of redefining his career. While he had global fame, he sought roles that offered depth and artistic complexity rather than commercial appeal alone. Early projects after Titanic received mixed responses, and some critics questioned his long-term range. This period changed significantly when he began collaborating with director Martin Scorsese. Their partnership started with Gangs of New York, where Leonardo took on a darker and more demanding role. This collaboration marked a turning point, allowing him to break away from his earlier image and develop into a more versatile actor. Over time, working with Scorsese became a defining part of his career. Producing several critically acclaimed films, this phase helped reshape public perception of him, shifting the focus from celebrity fame to serious artistic credibility and long-term creative evolution in Hollywood. Critical recognition and repeated Oscar challenges. Despite consistent praise for his performances, Leonardo DiCaprio experienced repeated challenges in winning major industry awards during much of his career. Films like The Aviator, The Departed, and Shutter Island were widely appreciated, yet award recognition did not always align with critical success. The Departed win was particularly notable because the film itself won Best Picture, but attention was often directed toward the ensemble rather than individual performances. Over time, this created a narrative in popular culture about his repeated nominations without wins. However, within the industry, he remained highly respected, frequently collaborating with top directors and delivering performances considered among the strongest of their time. This phase highlights the difference between popular perception and professional recognition, showing that awards do not always fully reflect an actor's influence, consistency, or artistic contribution over a long and sustained career. The Wolf of Wall Street and cultural impact. The Wolf of Wall Street marked one of Leonardo DiCaprio's most intense and energetic performances. Playing Jordan Belfort, he portrayed both charisma and moral collapse in a way that captured global attention. The role demanded physical comedy, emotional extremes, and long, demanding scenes that showcased his full range as an actor. The film became a major cultural talking point, widely discussed for its style, energy, and controversial themes. Leonardo received significant award nominations for the performance, yet did not secure an Academy Award win. Around this time, internet culture began turning his repeated Oscar losses into a widespread meme, transforming a serious professional narrative into a humorous online trend. While this increased his visibility, it also simplified his career into a single running joke, overshadowing the depth and variety of his work across different genres and collaborations throughout the years. The Revenant and physical transformation. The Revenant became one of the most demanding projects of Leonardo DiCaprio's career. Filmed in extreme natural conditions, the production required him to endure freezing temperatures, physically exhausting scenes, and prolonged outdoor shoots. His performance focused on survival, isolation, and endurance, requiring minimal dialogue and heavy physical expression. The film was widely praised for its realism and intensity, and it became a major critical success. This time, his performance finally earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor. The win marked the end of a long journey of nominations and public anticipation. However, the experience was also physically and mentally draining, reflecting the extreme lengths he went to for authenticity in his craft. The role is often remembered not just for the award, but for the level of commitment it required, symbolizing both achievement and sacrifice in equal measure. Environmental activism and public attention beyond acting, Leonardo DiCaprio has been deeply involved in environmental advocacy for many years. Through his foundation, he has supported climate research, conservation projects, and global awareness campaigns. He has also produced documentaries focused on environmental issues, aiming to bring scientific discussions into mainstream conversation. His activism has been widely praised for its scale and financial contribution, but it has also attracted public scrutiny regarding lifestyle contradictions often discussed in media. These discussions reflect a broader debate about modern celebrity activism and the challenges of balancing personal lifestyle with environmental advocacy. Despite differing opinions, his foundation's impact on conservation efforts remains significant. His work in this field demonstrates a long-term commitment beyond entertainment, showing an effort to use influence and resources toward global environmental awareness and sustainability initiatives across different regions and communities. Public image, relationships, and media narratives. Over the years, Leonardo DiCaprio's personal life has often been the subject of intense media attention and public discussion. His relationships have frequently been analysed in popular culture, sometimes leading to simplified narratives that focus more on patterns than personal context. While public interest in celebrity lives is common, his case became particularly amplified through internet culture and social media discussions. However, much of this remains speculation or interpretation rather than confirmed narrative detail. What is clear is that fame often magnifies personal choices, turning private life into public conversation. This attention sometimes overshadows professional achievements, reducing complex individuals to recurring headlines. In Leonardo's case, this phenomenon reflects the broader nature of celebrity culture, where personal and professional identities often merge in public perception, regardless of how separate they may be in reality. Legacy and reflection on a complex journey, Leonardo DiCaprio's career represents a rare combination of early struggle, global fame, artistic evolution, and long-term relevance in Hollywood. From a challenging childhood to becoming one of the most recognized actors in the world, his journey reflects persistence and adaptability. His work spans decades, genres, and collaborations with some of the most influential filmmakers in cinema history. At the same time, his life also reflects the complexities of fame, how success can bring both opportunity and limitation. While awards and recognition highlight milestones, they do not fully define his contribution to film or culture. His legacy continues through both his performances and his environmental work, making him a multifaceted public figure. Ultimately, his story is less about a single achievement and more about the ongoing balance between personal ambition, public identity, and the evolving meaning of success in modern celebrity culture.